Hey, welcome to Into the Toy Box. It's Sunday night again. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, so tonight we're gonna have a good guest on. Jon Reid is his name. You probably, if you're not familiar with his name, you probably will be familiar with his pictures or stuff. And with that, I'm going to bring on our co-host Bob.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy, y'all. Hope everybody's doing well.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Um, so your weekend been okay?
Weekend's been good for the
Good
most
deal.
part. There's been some things, but nothing worth mentioning here.
Gotcha. Yep, I know the feeling. All right. Well, like I said, we've got a good guest for you guys. His name is Jon Reid, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring him out right now. Um,
Howdy, folks. How's everybody doing this evening?
Hello.
hey, Jon, how you doing?
Good. It's great to be here, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well,
Thank you for joining us.
yeah, we're glad you are joining us tonight. Um, so how's your weekend been?
It's been pretty good, man. No complaints here. Just, normal
Excellent.
weekend stuff.
All right, all right. I guess Bob, you want to look at the chat and see see who all's here tonight?
Yeah. I got Bjorn here first with a new greeting that I'm not going to even attempt to butcher. So just leave that on the screen for a second for everybody to look at.
Sure, yeah.
Javelin in Toy City is here with us.
Hey man, thanks for staying up. I know it's late where you are, or early, I should say.
Yeah. Joel with Starboy Station is watching some football and going to be a bit late.
Well, I hope the Steelers are at least. I hope the Steelers are at least winning for you, Joel.
Ian Sweeney is here with us.
Hey Ian, thanks for staying up too.
Thanks, guys.
We've got a couple people that they're on the other side of the world that are watching, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
MCR, hey man.
Yeah, MCR is here with us.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got. That's about it. Just some other conversation in the chat.
Okay.
I know a couple of our regulars are in Florida, and have talked to them since Milton and know that they're okay. So, but I know they're having some issues recovering. So,
well, prayers go out to them then, for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Let's see here. All right. Well, I guess we'll get the show on the road. I've got a bunch of pictures pulled up from your Instagram, and then we'll show those, and then we're going to kind of talk about Acid Rain world figures today too. So just kind of have a little bit of a conversation about that.
Well, before we get too deep into the pictures here, do we want to let Jon go into like what got him into collecting and and all that?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Bob. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, not a problem.
So,
yeah, take it away.
I guess one of my biggest inspirations for getting into toys in general was when I was younger, I was always bought Lego sets and whatnot, but my grandparents and my parents really always hit it home to somehow always know, what I needed and what figures that I didn't have. But also my dad had his old collection sitting around that I acquired when I came of age, that he knew that I would take care of them. And so that really hit it off for me, was getting his old collection over time. And he had Micronauts and Star Wars vintage, quite a few.
You're speaking Bob's language there.
Oh yeah, Micronauts. That's right up my alley.
So I have a ton of his old stuff that I cherish, and that really kicked me off into getting into figures and toys in general. And then grandparents, of course, we'd always stop at Walgreens, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but Walgreens used to be great for the TAC line, the 30th anniversary collection from Star Wars with the coins.
Yeah.
And so almost every Saturday we would stop and I'd have to check the toys, and I would always walk out with a couple figures from the toy aisle there at Walgreens. So that was one of my two biggest impacts on me that always stuck with me. So
That is cool, man. That's cool. So yeah, my dad is pretty much I guess he's pretty much responsible for my hobby as well, because he was big into he had, of course, his hobby when he was younger, whatever. It was pretty much just army men and stuff like that. And he would like get the super miniature ones, like I think maybe 1/24th, or I'm not sure what the size was, 1/16th, or I don't know, not 1/16th, but something real.
The smaller ones,
yeah, the super small ones, and he would paint those and stuff. And then, like I said, I came around, and then Star Wars came out, or vice versa, and so he started buying me like Star Wars figures, and so it was just pretty much on from that point in time. But yeah, man, it's like I always like hearing about how people got into it, and that's cool. It's like I remember, for me, there was a like Walmart would be like where I started getting a lot of the sort of, I guess, after Star Wars were sold at a bunch of different places, but it's like some of the places where my parents got me stuff from, they're not even like real stores or around anymore. It was pretty much just like mom and pop stores.
Did you have a KB?
Do what?
Did you have a KB Toys?
Yeah, but that was like later. It's like when I was born in '74, and so when it came out in '77, they started. My dad started buying me figures right around, I don't know, I guess about that time, or '79 or something. And so there's places around town that we would go, and it would just be like, like, I don't know, it was I don't know, crazy names that are, like I said, not even around anymore. And we would go in there, and they would just have these big old tubs, and Star Wars figures would be in there, right? Yeah. And we'll just go through there and pick out some that I want. And then like Sears and J.C. Penney's, through the catalogs, you could get them through those as well. But yeah, once Walmart was kind of around, it's like that's where I pretty much got all G.I. Joe stuff and like Transformers and stuff like that, and the later kind of movies, I guess, of Star Wars. But anyway, all right. Well, what about you, Bob? I know you were kind of
yeah. For me, the early stores were Zayre's and Kmart.
Gotcha.
I remember there were a few Kmarts around town, but there was one specific one that just had like a great toy section compared to all the others.
Right. Yeah, we had a Kmart as well.
And then there was some store in the mall. I don't think it was KB, but it was something else. And,
Circus World.
Maybe, I don't know. It's too long ago to remember for sure. But and then the other store where I got a few figures from was there was this little mom and pop shop called Homewood Toy and Hobby right next to where my mother got her prescriptions filled. So when she would go and get her medications, we'd also pop into there and pick up like a Fisher Price Adventure People figure, like when they had them on the single card and stuff like that. So
so we did have, we did have a KB, and I did end up getting some Star. I remember getting Return of the Jedi figures at KB.
Oh, and Kmart is not the same as Circle K. Circle K is like a convenience store, whereas like Kmart was like it's kind of like a proto Walmart, but not as big.
I still makes sense. Hey, next to, like, close to me, so I know I'm familiar.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, there's one Circle K in our area. So,
so for me here, we had Walmart, we had Kmart, we had a couple of stores called TG and Y, and it was just, like I said, there were some that were just stores that were like just to the area, there wasn't big chains and stuff,
right?
And then we had about 30 minutes north of me, we had like it's like a bigger city, and so there was Toys R Us there, stuff like that, and But most of the time, I got my stuff like long before I ever saw it at like Toys R Us, just because I don't know. I guess Walmart and Kmart got their stuff. I don't know. Maybe they got it a little bit quicker than they did. I know it was a little bit cheaper, but
Sure.
Anyway, let's see here. Okay, so somebody had a question about this picture.
Yep, I'm getting it. Here we go.
You got it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The mist. How'd you do the mist effects in there, John?
So that is no part of that photo is edited. I took those down to a local creek that was about ankle high, and I was working at a ballpark at the time. Managed to get some dry ice from the Dippin' Dots shipment.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
I really didn't know what else to do with it. You play with it in school and you make smoke and you change the smoke's color and, that kind of stuff. And you make bubbles with it. And I thought, I should take this down to the creek. And I did a series of shots with them too. I think I did some with the 501st as well. But I just started chipping away at the dry ice block and started putting pieces in there and had the camera. And I had some friends helping me that they would kind of drop the chunks in, and we'd kind of let it go. We would drop it in upstream so it would kind of mist, the scene.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It really stuck to the water, It was just it wasn't very windy that day, and it worked out pretty well.
Cool. So yeah, it turned out great in the picture.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. I like that shot too. It's a really good one. I was like, I guess with my Star Wars stuff, it's like I had all the stuff from like the first 3 movies, and then like the prequels. I had that stuff, except I didn't really. I was kind of getting out of it by the time. Well, I was already out of it before Phantom Menace even came out. But when Phantom Menace came out, and then Attack of the Clones, and I guess Revenge of the Sith or whatever, I was pretty much just buying figures at that point in time, but I was pretty much keeping them in package, and like was not doing anything like this with them. But
sure,
I kind of hate that I didn't get a lot of these clone vehicles and stuff like that, because man, they're super cool.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks like you have some fans up in the chat, John.
Yeah.
I can't see chat. I don't know how to.
Oh, this is Zoe. I'm not even going to butcher her last name there, but yes, she's agreed that top left is a QT.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. This one, man, is this one's a good one, man. I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Much.
Yeah. All right. So these are 4-inch figures, right?
Yes, sir. So they're all the Rot's 30th anniversary, or not the legacy, the legacy or saga mold,
right?
And then the Commando in the middle there, I had custom commissioned.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think I remember seeing a one in that color.
No, so he did one for another buddy of mine a couple years ago, and I had seen it, and I was like, oh, I really like that, and I got a fodder body for pretty cheap. I think I paid maybe $7 for the figure. And yes, it is a clone Commando. Now I can see the comments. I don't know why it wasn't working.
Okay.
But,
yeah, so that was super cool, man. I really like that Commando. I like the scene altogether, but that dude just like jumped out at me. I was like, man, that dude is awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And let's see, I do like the fact that you have taken your stuff outside, and get shots. There's a guy, Toy Domination. He would be proud of seeing all these pictures of outside figures and stuff.
It can be a real challenge, let me tell you, especially with weather conditions and trying to really make it look like, a lot of me with the photography and the figures, it was just the realism of it that I seen other people capture that I liked about it. So I like to almost think that I'm, there taking the shot. And so I'm really particular about the background, and I don't know, it can be a pain. It makes you be super hard on yourself shooting outside. That's for certain.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, especially when you don't have like different planets, at your disposal. You know what I'm saying? Like they have, and for the movies and stuff like that, man. It's like if all you got, it's like I go outside and I'm like, well, where am I not going to be able to see a house in this picture? You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm going to have to go far away to where there's no houses in the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's so hard sometimes to get that perfect angle or that perfect area where everything's blocked in. It's a challenge, most definitely.
Yeah, I agree with Bjorn's comment here that
you
got a very kind of like war photographer or combat photography embedded, like reporter kind of look going on here.
That's very much what I go for. Like I was talking about, like to be able to conquer the scale, which is, I think most of but the palm of your hand, 3 inches. It's almost you have to be on their level.
That's right. Yeah, pretty much. You're right. Yeah, man. It's
I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, probably the vehicle I wish I'd have got the most. I regret not ever getting is basically the clone trooper, drop ship or whatever you want to call them, man. Those are so good. Yeah, it's so good, man.
No, so out too, believe it or not, and this was the first one that I picked up after I was a little older, and I got it from a comic shop on Facebook. I missed out too. I always wanted one, and I think I mentioned this, but I was into Lego when I was younger too, so it was hard to balance,
Right, yeah.
I ended up with the Lego one, but I never did get a figure one. So first thing I did when I got a bunch of clones is I was like, it's gunship time. So
that's right. Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's like you got to have one of those at least, man, to have clones and stuff. I like the, it's to me, it's like, great shot, you know what I'm saying? It's like that could be something that was, in one of the movies, for the most part, you got all the droids, sort of like, in a pile, and they're like loading up stuff or unloading stuff for the gunship, it's awesome.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I really tried to set that one up. That was one of my first larger shots that I did. But
a question here from Ian Sweeney.
None of them.
Yeah, they suck, man.
The super battle droids aren't too bad. A lot of it, I feel like, is tinkering with it at home and just figuring out the balance of the figure. And for like a lot of the sometimes I just dig their feet in the dirt and just try to like not get it in the shot,
Yeah.
It's so hard at, and especially it could be hard, but I would say probably the super battle droids and anything that has 4 legs, like a droideka or a dwarf spider droid or anything of that nature where you don't need to really pose it just kind of sits up on its own would be
AP here is wondering if you can take a picture of them next.
Oh, of course, bro. I can always do that. Of course.
So those battle droids, man, are terrible. Even if you have a flat surface inside your house, like you're trying to take a picture of them, it's murder trying to get them things to stand up and to keep a certain pose, man. It's like those things are like terrible for that. It's like
it's so bad.
So you can get some good shots with them, if you do a certain thing or something, like if you're tearing them apart or something like that, it's fine, or holding pieces of them. But man, for those to be standing up, it's like they're like I said, they're the worst. And honestly, the 6-inch figures are just a little bit better, but they're still not, that much better anyway. So whenever I see them, they're like, we're going to release a battle droid again, I'm like, okay, you can release 1,000 of them until you get them to where they have a little bit stiffer legs or something, or their feet are a little bit wider. Wake me up when those get released. You know what I'm saying?
That was almost part of it. It's funny that you bring that up, Ian, because it was almost my inspiration for this shot. Because I took all this outside, and then I was like, man, I tried to set some of the droids up, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just make it an after-action report. We've got reinforcements. Maybe they're resupplying, maybe they're pulling out, but either way, they need to scrap the droids and make sure that they're all accounted for. So,
well, it's a good one, man. So is this one too, right here, man. It's
Thank you. This was a collaborative I did, I originally took the photo, and then me and Jonathan Ness decided to do a collaboration because he has the same troopers. So at the Amazing J-Man decided that we would take the same photos on the same planet with the same Legion, but a different battlefront on that planet, or a different area on that planet. So, but yeah, I loved this one too. And the gunship is actually custom as well.
Yeah, I thought that might be. Yeah.
Looks like the cockpit covers match the troopers.
Yeah, so
more than they usually do. Yeah.
It's a 41st Legion gunship custom from Clatulian Skiff Master on Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
So funny little story or side bit. So that's the Siege Battalion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so after the movies that came out and stuff like that, I got this wild hair to see how many of these guys I could buy. And so this was like probably 2009 or 2010. I started buying. I had a few of them from when the movie came out, but I started buying them off eBay and places on the internet and stuff. I had 42 of them in the package that I had in like those plastic totes you buy at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I had like 20, I think 22 of them would. What's up, family?
Happy Sunday.
I think about 22 of them would sit in a plastic tote, and I got up to like 40 something, and I was like, man, what am I doing? I'm like, I was like, you know, I was like, nobody cares that I have 40 or 50 of these guys. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I guess I was just wanting to, I don't know, to be able to, you know, brag or some shit. I don't know, but it's like I end up like, you know, eventually like selling the majority of them just because I was like, what was I doing? You know? And so I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I thought it would be funny if I like tried to buy every one of them I could see, you know what I'm saying? And so, anyway, there was definitely way more out there than I had money for. So I ended up, you know, stopping that. But anyway, yeah.
Well, that's another big thing for me with this whole, you know, collecting thing is like a lot of these figures came out when I was 8, 7, you know, you guys, you know, have the advantage of time advantage and disadvantage. However,
right.
No offense.
Yeah.
You guys, you know, I wasn't able to drive for some time after Rocks came out, you know, like you guys had, oh my God, if I would have had a vehicle then or a job and been able to work, that would have been mwah.
Right.
You guys were peak toy time for sure.
For sure, man. Yeah. The problem was, I think we were kind of too old at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like by the time that came out, it's like I think I was like, I guess maybe into my early 30s. And so, you know, it's like I wish I'd have kept on going with all those action figures and stuff. But I have a hell of a collection today. But you know, it is what it is. You can't like be around for like every release of every toy. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I was just more or less saying that it just makes it that much harder to get. I think you guys know
for sure.
A lot of stuff is like, it's so hard to
do. Man. It's like if you were to fall in love with the Clone Wars now, I mean, you would be paying probably 5 times, you know, what the stuff was originally, you know, retail for, you know, as far as like the vehicles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's like just be glad that you were getting into it then and not like 5 years later than that. Because like I said, it's like it might be just impossible to get at that point in time, you know?
Right.
You say that. Well, first let's address this question from MCR about did you add the weathering to the LAAT?
Yeah, so the whole gunship was custom as far as it was a standard red Crumb bomber, or the Twi'lek bomber, I think is what it was.
Hey, Defiant.
Yeah, it's so it was every part that you see that's green was red, and it was custom match the troopers, and then he added the weathering, and I believe he used shoe polish for the weathering, but that would be Clatulian Skiff on Instagram who customized that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. But yeah,
one thing I was going to bring up, well, since you guys were talking about like getting like clone troopers and whatnot, and how much it would be for someone getting it now. But now that Hasbro's released a phase 1 and a phase 2 on that new body style, I'm sure they're going to be doing all the variant legions and legion paints and whatnot on that just plain white shiny. So
I was hoping that you were bringing that up because I mean, we don't have to get into that, but it's very hard having a huge collection of older ones and the newer ones not looking the best with them and not, it's all just in your head really, but
yeah.
That does. I mean, it's like for me, it's like it's like the ones they had for those movies were good, for the time, and then the ones they've been releasing up until they did the remake or I guess the body that they updated, it's like they were too skinny. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. Yeah. They almost looked like they might have been skinnier than the Clone Wars animated line. You know what I'm saying? And so.
And that was right.
Yeah.
You just can't, unfortunately, sometimes it's
right.
tough.
Well, I will say this. Hopefully, since it would be a no-brainer if they're redoing all the clones with that new buck to maybe release the clone vehicles as well to go with them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, totally.
So if Joe Hasbro is listening tonight, maybe that should be one of the next vehicles.
Hopefully, Mr. Steve is listening. Please.
Yeah, for sure.
Please, yeah.
Or
catching the replay at least. But
he'll. I'm sure he will watch this for the next couple of days and give him something to think about.
Hopefully.
Thanks. Just start spamming his Instagram account. And
please hit the like button, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
It helps the channel a lot.
It keeps the lights on. Awesome shot, man.
Thank you.
For me, it's like I have to live through other people to see figures like this because I don't have any. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's awesome to see, because I'm assuming that those 3 movies are probably your favorites, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the originals. I was lucky enough my dad exposed me to the originals first. So
cool.
I went like a backwards where I watched the new ones and then went back. So I guess I have like that core understanding, I guess, where like I didn't know anything about, you know what I mean? The skills and the, all those big things that came later. So I guess I have more of like a 70s kids perspective on it. Maybe that's weird to say, but it's where like I like the prequels, but there's still issues with them that I totally understand where the OT fans have.
Right.
So it's just a mixed bag. But I do love Rots. Rots is my all-time favorite.
You're right. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah.
And there's issues with the original trilogy movies.
Issues with
like I didn't get to watch them when they first came out, but I got to see like my friends' Star Wars figures. In my family, that was like forbidden, to Star Wars. But I'd play with their figures and loved all the cool aliens and droids. So when I went to watch the original trilogy, I'd be like, "Oh, cool! There's that guy!" And whoa, where'd he go? He's like blinking, you miss him. But so yeah. Everybody's got their own kind of relation with Star Wars.
I bet that. And thank you, Ian, for saying that this was a nice shot. I always try not to overdo the edits, but sometimes it can be hard.
I pulled this one up. It's not one of the Clone Wars era, but I really like the shot. I mean, it was I like a good stormtrooper, photograph, and I thought that was a really good one.
Thank you. There's actually a bike path right there next. I took my friends on that shoot too. There's I have friends standing right behind the troopers just out of the shot. And so I used the bike path. I don't know. The grass was tall, nothing really too special. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was one of them that the other ones are really good, but there are some that are like different enough to where they jump out at you. And so,
always been amazing though.
I definitely really appreciate the outside photography for these, because you can't really do this inside the house. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah, it can be such a challenge. I mean, it really can be. Like for this one, I think you can kind of tell, but it was some loose topsoil. There was some construction close by, and I just started just click, 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 and just kind of made it work.
Yeah, it definitely works. It's like they're basically going downhill or down an embankment or something. It's all.
I really like using natural water sources in my shots. Like there's a whole like stream or creek behind there, and I think you can see the post off to the right. We were right underneath like a road right there.
Right.
So I don't know why I just love like the nature water, jungle aspect. I don't know. It works well.
It does, man. It does.
And we don't have any desert up here in the Midwest. The most desert I can get is a beach. So
it looks like you have a good area for that, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, all these look like just they could be right out of the Clone Wars series.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. For here it's mostly, I guess, wooded areas, and so just not really. I mean, there's not really any kind of desert area here. There's some forest area, stuff like that, but that's pretty much about it. I mean, there's a little bit of like grasslands where it's flat, but for the most part, it's if you wanna get like some of the Geonosis type style environments, you pretty much have to go to the mountains, or go to Utah or places like that to be able to get that style, and so that's just you got to use the environment that you can when you live a certain area.
No,
but yeah, awesome shot.
Thank you.
And so I like this one, man. It's like you have a lot of like Clone Wars era shots, and then you got a bunch of like new stuff mixed in too. I like that because this is pretty much from The Mandalorian,
No, I love doing, I'll do figures that are 10 years old today, and I'll be shooting a figure that just came out yesterday tomorrow, so I like to switch it up. And it can be kind of hard, between the Acid Rain and the Star Wars and all the other lines that I'm into. It can be hard to kind of keep a consistent, follow base sometimes because, people like different things. So it can be hard to mesh everything together,
Yes, definitely. And you got to take advantage of the snow when you get it, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah. That was another one where it was just right off of like a driveway, I think. And I was just like, that looks like a good spot for that, and I think I just had opened the figure that weekend, probably just got it in the mail and was like, let's do it, so.
Awesome.
Worked out.
So I threw this one on there since it was just probably just a pick, I guess, of, I don't know how old the pick is, but definitely a good scope of like some of the vehicles and stuff like that. So
I'd say that pick is maybe 4 years old, 3 to 4 years old, I would say. I've moved since then, and so I think it's probably doubled since. Like that shelf looks bad now, like worse. So I would say, it's probably about 3-4 years ago. I had my Jedi up top, and then I had 2 clone shelves and an Imperial shelf down below. And now, like, none of those armies would fit anywhere near in that space.
Like, I'm sure the collection has grown since then.
Absolutely, yeah. And the ATVs, I kind of just balanced up there, and everybody was always so fascinated with that. And I'm like, they climb up cliffs, they can climb a shelf.
Exactly. And that's another one, man. That's another awesome vehicle. You know what I'm saying? And I wish that they would think about releasing again. Well, it's like
he's so expensive that like I feel like that's why they did the HasLab to begin with, because they can't justify losing out on money when it doesn't sell. It goes to Ross and Ollie's.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. It's like I would definitely. Or here's the thing, though, but they do have like, a pre-order. Like they'll do like pre-orders for certain things, like those. I think they're called Wing or whatever, those ships, they did like a pre-order window where they took people's orders and they made them. I think they could do the same thing with the Clone Wars vehicles if they wanted to. It just depends on if they want to or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that would be
sure there's some bean
it,
counter, going, no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's hard to think about this, and I think about this a lot. But with the Disney takeover, they don't care about Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Look at how they, look what they. I mean, yeah, we don't have to get into that either, but
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing now because it's not just Lucasfilm saying, hey, maybe we should do this or whatever, I'm saying with Hasbro or whatever. Now it's Disney, and basically Disney is going to, they're pretty much just going to do what they're going to do, at this point.
Well, I mean that and Clone Wars just isn't their baby. So,
yeah.
Right. It makes sense.
They want to get stuff that's theirs and push stuff that's theirs. Yeah, I get that, but also, it's on the backs of all the stuff that we all watched and liked. So it's like, if you got to get if you can't get the original fans on board with stuff, you're kind of spinning your wheels because there's more of us than there are new fans. You know what I'm saying? It's like, at least in my opinion, it's like, I feel like, there's more people to buy money, that are older fans that grew up with the, 6 movies or whatever and the cartoon than any new fans you get now, because what new fans are actually buying figures these days. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm sure you have some, but it's like, it's the people who have the figures that want to keep buying the figures. You know what I'm saying? Is what's pushing the action figure, lines. You know what I'm saying? It's not new fans. You know what I'm saying? It's all of us, Anyway, I digress. We could talk all day about Disney and all that, but
no, I wanted to answer Famine though, because I said that and I didn't necessarily mean it that harshly. I just meant with how they put Clone Wars on hold. Yeah, I don't care. When I said I didn't care about that, Disney didn't care about the Clone Wars. I just more meant that at first, for a lot of us fans, when they put the end of the series on hold like they did, it just kind of sucked. And
when they bought Lucasfilm, I think they wanted to put the brakes on everything and sort of, because it's like, if you remember, they pretty much put a halt to the action figures too. You know what I'm saying? Everything pretty much came to the halt because we were still getting, we were getting Clone Wars animated figures, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're not making it anymore. And they gave us a couple lines that were like repacks in different, packaging. But there was a couple of years that we didn't really get, any figures after they bought them or not substantial figures. They repacked a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Saga figures and a lot of like the Clone Wars,
the end of the Clone Wars line, like a lot of them were released in Australia and Europe, and we never got them here. So too, they never, it just kind of ended abruptly. But that is true. I do understand, obviously.
Sadly, the Saga and Legacy days seem to be gone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially the Build-A-Droids and all that stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it was like the golden time of like toys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Saga figures, and some of them would come with the droid parts and stuff like that. It's like, we'll never get that again. You know what I'm saying? At least not for, regular price,
Yeah. Which you'd think as much as they do with like Marvel Legends and doing Build-A-Figures, they do Build-A-Droids with the smaller TVC figures, but
I
don't know.
Yeah, that's a different show, I guess.
Yeah, that's our bad, I guess, for getting spiraled into that. But
it's all good, man. We're all passionate about Star Wars, man. That's why we that's what got most of us into figures and stuff for the most part,
That's true.
But all right, so anyway, I guess we're gonna split into like the acid rain part of the show.
Which we do have a question for that.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
I got into Jablong asked when did I get into acid rain, and how did I get into acid rain? So originally I was seeing acid rain all around on Instagram, and I assumed that it was someone's customs. So there was a long period where I would see posts of it and just be like, okay, that's cool, but it's somebody's custom. And at that time, I believe it was Cantina Scum was still around. If anybody remembers Cantina Scum, but they were a huge custom. They're still around, but he's not active on the page anymore. I'm not sure why. I know some of our other toy members might know, but he was a huge inspiration for me too. And seeing his work, I thought that could have been Acid Rain. So in 2019 is when I finally made the jump into Acid Rain when the Marines re-released. I believe that was 2019. I could be wrong. But when the Marines did their second release, the original Marine with the canteen with the rations, that's when I jumped back in.
Now that was Ori Toy at that point, right?
Yes, I believe that those. Yes, yeah. I'm almost certain that they were.
Yeah, for real, for me too, man. Because it's like I didn't get into it like until 21, and so I was not even. I mean, I was aware of Acid Rain, but it was like that was the same thing for me too. I thought people were making those figures up. You know what I'm saying? As far as like customs as well, because I was like, this doesn't look like something that somebody would make, or sell, just because it's like it's not shiny. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like something would be hanging on the shelf or something,
No, absolutely.
But so anyway, so is that like one of the Ashley Wood mechs or something like that?
So that is a custom mech from Jacob Hill, and I can't think of his handle on Instagram. I believe it might be Jacob Hill. He's in our group. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. I believe his name is Jacob Hill, but his handle. So that is a World War robot tall boy mech that was kit bashed with a stronghold. I imagine a 303 stronghold and several other parts from other Ashley Wood, as well as his own 3D resin prints.
Okay, so it's Jacko Brick 4272. That's the name.
Yes.
For
Jacob's a great guy, and he's an amazing customizer. His talent with matching Acid Rain's feel and weathering is just unmatched. It's just
and our boy Red Kanata, he gets a lot of stuff from him. So really good stuff. So here's the thing, right? So for me, I did not get into this until like 21, and by that time, these were the original Marines, right?
They were, the re-release, but yes, the original Marines, yes.
See, I was not really the biggest fan of these guys, just because I guess they wasn't available for me when I first started. Because by the time I found out about it, these guys were like long sold out, right? And so I was like, man, those guys kind of look cool, but they kind of look weird with their face mask or whatever, And so anyway, I appreciate them now, and it's like I wish I had some of them now, but it's like at that time I was like I had just kind of gotten into action figures again because of The Mandalorian, and so that sort of I was like buying figures because of that, and then I end up going the 4-inch route because of Acid Rain and stuff like that, because of figures like Detective Smith, and those type. And so that and I was trying to, about that point in time too, I was trying to start telling a story with my Instagram, and I wanted that sort of Star Warsy, setting that I could incorporate lots of stuff from. And so anyway, long story short, I came on a little bit after these guys, and so that's why I don't really have any of these, But super great shot, man. Awesome.
That was one of my first shots with those figures once because the female EOS Raider that's in the back there came out, I want to say, within the year of the Marines re-release. So it was just perfect timing for me. And I want to say it was around Christmas time when they came back out too. So it was
Right.
perfect timing at that time to jump in for me.
How much were the figures then?
I want to say I can go back and get my original receipt, but I want to say they were $35.99 a piece.
Man, I'll tell you what. It'd be sure nice if
Too
they were that
bad.
now, man, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's another good one. So that one
Hmm.
you talked about that. That's one of those that's Ashley Wood too, right? The box.
Yeah, so that's a World War Robot square, as they'd call it. And from my understanding, it's equivalent to like an R2 unit in that universe. But they can be a little bit more like, I don't know, they're a little bit more disposable, I suppose.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like those, man, but they're a little bit too, I guess I guess they're I should say maybe hard to get, or I guess a little bit more expensive than I mean I buy acid rain figures, but I was like I think
No,
sometimes
yeah.
they're a little bit more expensive than those, and so it's like, man, I can't I can't just keep going up and up and up with toy lines that cost more money. You know what I'm saying? So
I found that at a local toy shop, and I was wanting to get into Ashley Wood beforehand, but I found a 2-pack with that's the Night Watch square, and then a white one came with it, which was the Day Watch square. And I think they were like $25 a piece at this local
oh,
shop.
really? That's not bad. Yeah.
So that's what kicked me into that too. Was like every time I get into a new line, it's some kind of deal that gets me in, and then it's
Oh yeah. I get you.
money, you know. So
Yeah, if I could build a time machine, I definitely would, Joel, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Let's see here. So, oh yeah, so this one is a super good picture, man. It's like I was looking through there. I was like, that is super good. And also, I was like, I guess I didn't notice it at first because I was just basically trying to get a picture of like acid rain, and then I realized that's a map on the Jeep. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, that's awesome, dude.
yeah, this
Awesome.
shot was pretty challenging because the sun was setting that day, and I was trying to sit there and get this photo without having my own shadow overcast the whole thing. So because the sun was behind me, and I didn't want to move things. I really wanted the shot with the shadows like that. So I really had to like kind of almost position myself out of the way so I had no shadow overcasting everything. So,
Right.
but yeah, thank you. It was I had to use those maps. I got a bunch of those cutouts from one of my strongholds, and so I had to use one of them.
Yeah, that's super good. Super good.
So
Um,
popping back to Bjorn's question here before we get too far along. So is it Ansley Wood or Ashley Wood?
Ashley, it is a
Ashley. Okay.
he's a male artist from Australia.
yeah. Bjorn, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's done some comic books here and there, I think. And
They're graphic novels. There's not a whole lot of story. I mean,
yeah,
there's story behind what he has, but it's very hard to. It's kind of like Acid Rain in a way, where it's like bits
Mm.
and pieces, and you can go on and read a story, and you can get the books. But he does a lot of um, like other art too, like busts and
yeah.
different weird things like that that are really cool and creative.
Yeah, if you basically look at basically acid rain is like a niche, type stuff, and then Ashley Wood would be like, on top of that, being, another, niche, whatever you want to call it. It's
Yeah,
even more, more boutique type deal, like, artistical thing, and so it's like, it's not cheap either. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's very much like you just said, and it's also they're very fragile, and they're
Mm.
very a lot of his pieces are like 1/6 scale, bigger, a lot
yeah,
massive pieces.
yeah,
So that can drive the price up too, and
for sure.
especially they're a lot more limited than Acid Rain too. Once the aftermarket hits for them, it's just unreal.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, this was a good shot, man. I like I almost got, I guess, this guy. a couple times when I saw him still on Big Bad, but I just never pulled the trigger because like I said, I was getting into it, and you know, I guess I didn't know how quickly stuff moved or sold out, and once it was gone pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So
No, right.
it's like if you don't get it, while it's either at PIA Club or Big Bad, you're pretty much not going to get it, at least, at a reasonable price,
Yeah. Kind of like Eagle Force.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Bjorn's got another question here. So is Ashley Wood on Instagram?
He should be. It should be. If you might want to look up. The company is 3A. If you look up 3A Toys, the company I don't think any longer exists because I don't know if he had a falling out with them. I don't want to speak on that, but I know that 3A doesn't produce his stuff anymore. It's a new company called 30, and that's as in like spell 3 and then put an A after it, or spell 3 and then put a 0 after it.
So I'm looking it up now. Yeah. So basically, if you look up Ashley Wood art, you'll see all that stuff. Bjorn, he does that. It is on Instagram. So yeah. Anyway, it's cool to look at. It's just a different style and it's a different take on things. Some of it's kind of cool. Some of it's like, just super artistical. I'll put it at that. But anyway, super good shot, man. Here, like I said, I love the outside shots. If Dom was watching this chat, he would be like loving all of this.
Oh,
And if you're not following Jon, give him a follow. So
Jon Reid 343 on Instagram. I appreciate it, guys, and I follow back too, especially if you're a toy collector. So
yeah, that's pretty much all that's probably going to be in here, probably. So I like this shot. Is that what figure? What's the girl? Is that like the knight or of
the Shadow of Aconite?
Oh, that's right. The Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe I'm sure the chat can butcher me on that. I don't know if Aconite or I don't know. That's how I pronounced it.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I would say there are probably a handful of guys that are in the chat that collect Acid Rain. Might be a few of them that just maybe have one or a couple of them, but it's that one to me. It was you would have to know Acid Rain to pretty much have that one because that one's been sold out for a few years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I want to say it was like a convention exclusive. Then they had some extras after, or something like that.
I think it was one of the first big convention exclusives because it went up with the Rusted Stronghold and the Omongan. It's not the Soil Ghost. The Omongan Special Forces with the antlers, but he had like a cloth soft goods instead of fur.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's a good shot. I like this one. So that guy, the guy in the background, isn't that the one they re-released a couple like last year or a couple years ago?
That's the Soul Commander. That's one of Shadow's favorites there.
Yeah. Super good, man. It's like I wish, like, the one thing I will say about Acid Rain I kind of don't like is that when they do new shots of their new products, they will mix in older stuff, and it's like the older stuff is not available. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like super hard to get. So it's like almost like, damn, dude, it's like either reproduce these figures, you know what I'm saying, to give us,
But that's why I'm so worried. Like, and Kit Lau, if you're listening, I really hope that you can
Brad.
But that's why I'm worried with him, with them doing the new sculpts and everything, like, and with all the new figures coming out, that the style's a little different. I don't know that we will, and I'm kind of worried. Almost like we talked about the Clone Troopers with the new molds. It's like I don't know if we're ever gonna be able to get those original figures again. I really hope so, though.
Yeah, me too. I almost kind of think that I don't know. I say this is my opinion, is I think that he's going to remake some of the older figures, but they're going to be updated versions. And so they will not, they may or may not look like the old ones. And so that may, make a few people not exactly happy that have some of the older stuff, but it's like, it's kind of hard to see or to determine which way he's going sometimes with stuff, but whatever. I mean, it's, I don't think that he's thinking that people are going to be, constantly buying for like 10 years or something. They're going to get in.
I mean, I wonder if they realize the demand for that older stuff, like they have to, but
yeah, I mean, well, we'll see in a few minutes because I got some pictures of the new prototypes that got coming out. But so this shot
I was about to mention that, but we'll wait till
yeah. So really good shot here. That's the flamethrower guy to the right?
Yeah, that's the Omongan Flame Trooper. Yes, and I might be pronouncing that wrong too, but
that's one that I almost pulled the trigger on just because I really liked the way he looked. And so, yeah, Jabalong, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's definitely, the artist. But, you can't forget your fans, especially the ones that, kept you going. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, this was a really good shot. I think this might be one of the last ones I have of your Acid Rain stuff. But, yeah, so I was not really big fans of Buck's team, when I first got into it, and so now, I mean, I don't have the OG team or anything like that, but now I have the newer updated, the navy blue team,
the Cobalt Navy team.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of digging those, but I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely digging the sand versions that are coming out. But that's just, I like stuff. I like earth tone colors and stuff like that. And so, because it kind of goes with my setup. But super good shot, man. Super good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of our Lord and Savior, so, it must be just super cool to be able to live on that side of the world and to be able to go to those conventions that he's at, because it doesn't seem like there's like 400 or 500 people there. It normally seems like there's a group of like 20 to 30.
I feel like those events that he hosts have to be a smaller, like,
right.
Like, yeah. I don't think you could just show up there and just, like, I don't know, maybe.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that these are probably his closest friends and the biggest fans. Like, this is like his Instagram inner circle. You know what I'm saying? Like over there, it's like his friends and the people that are like, throwing a lot of money, at this. But man, wouldn't it be cool to be able to like set up in front of, like 100 figures that you've had made, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to talk about them and stuff like that. That would be awesome. So are you going to get this book?
I seen that some people were having trouble getting it, and I haven't even looked into how to get it. I'm not even going to lie. I feel like I should, but
I really want it, but man, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. I mean, it's pretty much you got to like email. I think you pretty much got to email him for the most part, or email whoever is running that, and then they send you like a notification within like 2 days or something, and you got to respond to that or pay for it then or something. And so, I think it may be just a deal where I don't know. I don't know if they already made or if he's just trying to get orders for them. But man, if he would have put them on PIA Club, it'd be like a slam dunk. It's like I would definitely pull the trigger on one then. But
I feel like he might. I don't know. I don't see why they wouldn't produce a few extra.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for me, it's like maybe this is more of a kit thing than Toys Alliance. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't know how much. so basically Toys Alliance is the company that puts out the figures, but does he how much like control does he have of Toys Alliance? You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't have any I don't have like any knowledge of that, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway,
I would kind of think since he kind of is the brand that he probably does have a good bit of control. I mean, because it's always, he's always mentioned when they talk about Acid Rain. So
I don't know. I mean, he's like I said, I would love to get the book. It's not very user friendly. I mean, you gotta really kind of gotta want it to be able to get it. So,
do you think it's gonna have text in it? That's the other thing. Is like, how would they be able to print it in, let's say, 7 different languages if there was,
I'm not going to. I think it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be. Well, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea about that. I pretty much thought that it was going to be in, his language, and that was just going to be where you get it. There's going to be a lot of pictures, you know what I'm saying, and then just, like, well, I won't be able to read that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I feel
Google Translate.
It might not have words though either. I feel like there's a good chance that it could just be like a catalog essentially.
Yeah.
He
said he got it, so all right, you, man. It's like I said, I haven't really like dug into it, like okay, I'm gonna buy it right now. It's just I've heard people say something, and then I like looked into it, and so I got like one step into it, and I was like, okay. Anyway, but so some of these are the figures that he's got coming out. I guess some of these are going to be, I guess he's showing right now at those conventions. I like the smaller guy. The bigger guy, I really don't know how I feel about the bigger guys, man, because some of them look like just big chunks of plastic. You know what I'm saying?
Well, some of these bigger guys look like some of the older Omega figures to me back when it was like Oritoy, and
that's what he's going for. If you look, there's joints, like there's a little break right here where I'm almost 90% positive that chest plate will come off, just like you said, like the original. So I like that about it, because like the helmet's almost exactly the same. That's like the Douglas helmet, just about. It's a little more rivets on it, more contour lines, but I just can't get over how they changed the armor style, like completely. I don't know. I just, for my personal collection, I don't know if I will be getting it.
This is definitely a take on it. Sure.
Yeah, that robot guy there in the back, that's the one that's got my attention.
Yeah,
it looked like there were like 2 different versions of him, and
that's the puppet. They call that the puppet, right?
I would imagine that would be the updated puppet, because it looks like an updated Amongan rifle in his hand.
So
but I don't know.
I was not into it during that time, but those puppets,
me neither, but
I was like, man, that looks pretty cool. It's like the whole time I've been like, I love Acid Rain and I love robots, and they brought robotic Acid Rain figures out, I'd be all in. And so I'm kind of excited to see those, because I don't have any, and I love, like I said, love robots, and I love Acid Rain. So it's like it's definitely working for me.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming these guys will be about the same size as the I guess the bigger figures, like Mason, I guess, right? Or will they be bigger than Mason?
Well, see, that's the other thing too, is I don't even think they're gonna tower over the older ones. I feel like maybe not, but yeah, I would imagine that they'd be that bigger.
Because
I don't know.
Because the Mason figure is almost a head taller, than the regular, AMM figures. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, anyway. But I don't know. I mean, maybe.
If I'm not mistaken, these bigger Omongans are either genetically altered or they're cyborgs as well. So who knows?
Right. We'll just have to wait to see, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll probably pass on the bigger guys, but these smaller puppet-esque guys.
Yeah, those the big ones. I'll have to see them in hand before I like or definitely like I'll have to see what people think about them before I pull the trigger on those. But these other guys, the regular version guys, I am down for all these, man. It's like I'm, you know, it's like they're speaking to me, you know. Yeah, there's the puppet right there, man. It's like I love that guy. And so basically, so this is for the Omangans, right? So that pretty much means that he would. I'm just gonna say this, right? When he makes factions, he only really makes the factions for them, right? It's not like he's reusing parts for other people, right? It's mostly all the parts he's making are for specific factions. Even though this is a robot, you know, I don't think anybody else has puppets, so it's like it's probably only going to get a release on the Mangan side, and probably in those colors. And but my thinking is, man, it's like if they would like, if he would, this would be something to where, if they did different colors of this, I would be so down for it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, now that arm on this one kind of looks like the Ratco cybernetic arm.
Well, see, that's
it may be different. I'd have to.
No, that's what I think they're very much going for. Is that was the base, that was the teaser for what was to come, and you're right, Bob. That's exactly what that is, because it seems like that the leg. I don't know. It's weird.
That leg kind of looks like Ratco's as well.
Yeah. The knee pad almost. I feel like, I don't know.
Which I'm fine with that. Like, you know, growing up in the 70s and 80s, I'm used to like toy companies reusing parts to do figures. So, you know.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Bob, if you want to pull me up, if you look at the leg, it's the same leg from the, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the same leg from the pretty much from the joint down. I mean, it's not the robotic hip that connects to the and the arm looks the same too. So it could be what we're getting right there. Pretty much.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, because you know it'll be a different color than the red.
Yeah, good, Bob. That's crazy.
Yep. You might have cracked the code, bud.
Yeah. The chest looks very. Oh, my bad. The chest looks very. Though to me too, like the two pistons going down. I don't know why, but I'm liking how that's looking.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I love the whole thing, man. It's like I am so down for this. I can't wait till we see color versions of it, you know. But you could even tell too, the gun, it's basically an updated version of those old I guess
that's what I was saying. Yeah, it looks like a lot more beefy too. It looks
Well, you know, he's steadily been increasing the size on those weapons, and some of them just is ridiculous. You know how some look, you know, but
like the Algerts have the Chapman weapon supplier.
Yes, it's like the gun's almost as big as the figure. You know what I'm saying?
They're like huge.
Because see, the bad thing is, it's like I can't in good faith like put those guns in those hands. It's like I have to go back to some of the older guns to use those, because the ones, they just look so like it's crazy. You know how they look, you know, and it's like an SMG shouldn't be, you know, like 2 foot. I mean, like, you know, just you know, anyway.
Shouldn't be arm's length. It should be small.
I'm not kidding.
But I tell you this, you know, last year we got the first look at the Yamato guys, I guess about this time. And I thought that, okay, you know, I'm like, those are cool. You know, I like those. I'm glad Yamato is getting some more. But these guys are like, I'm super excited about these guys, you know. And I mean, I have a lot of like the Yamato faction, you know, but these guys I am super excited about, because it looks like it's, even though it's mostly on Mangan or Mangan, whatever you want to call it, they just look like cool action figures. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I'm not sure about the big guys, but
hold on. That almost looks like a Bucks helmet. I know I don't think it's supposed to be, but that almost looks like one of the newer Bucks helmets.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
That's weird.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're all assuming these are all going to be Omangans, but
that one definitely the body is Omangan, but I'm just saying the head, it looks just a little bit just from the test shot.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to wait and see. I like him too. I just want to see how they look compared to the other guys. And I mean, I love Kit to death, and for the most part, he pretty much keeps his prices in line as far as like figures that are coming out. Most of them are like the same price, most of them. But the ones that have a different mold or something are always more expensive, And so I'm kind of curious to see like how much this guy's going to be, Hey, Pirates.
Hey, yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Coming in late. Yeah.
But like these are some of the I guess these are some of the guys that have maybe gone a little bit further down, production. But like super cool, man. I love the way this guy looks. I love the freaking, like the gun connected to his back. Super good in my opinion.
Whatever those little things are, again, I'm pointing at the screen like I always do. Is if you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but those little bits coming off of his back over his head are up parallel with his head. Are interesting. I'm not sure what those are, but
I think it's like a laser or something, or a laser like Predator. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some kind of like gun. I think. I mean, I could be
maybe,
but
who knows?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a gun. I think.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing. Definitely seeing more.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, a more weathered version of the the ones previous in the prototypes. So, I don't know, man. I mean, they're chunky boys. I definitely like that one though, man. I like that one a lot.
It looks really good, and it looks true to what they're trying to emulate. And if you look, those panel lines are still there on his chest too. I bet that chest pops off.
It could be right. Could be right. Have they made these guns before? Or are these new ones? That one.
No, they're new.
Yeah, these are like new guns, I think.
Yeah, and I love how it's got like the water cooling.
Yes.
Front.
Yeah. I don't mind a bigger gun with a bigger guy, but it's like you can't have just a regular figure, always carrying these size weapons out. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
oh right.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's heavy weapons, and then there's assault weapons and small arms. Yeah.
So this is just a couple more pictures of them. I'm just kind of going through.
Yeah, nice. I haven't seen some of these.
I like the launcher too. That launcher looks really solid.
Yes, I agree. Totally. It looks a lot better. To me, I don't think it's not the same one, right, that they've made.
No, it was you can see it in a clearer picture in one of the other test shots. It's new, I think. It looks like some kind of, I don't know, Stinger or more anti-air, I feel like.
But here's another one of these guys. I almost at first thought when I first saw these that they almost had heads like Gundams, or something in the Gundam universe at first. I was like, that's, to me, it was like, I was like, okay. But yeah, anyway, more of the customs. But this dude right here, I am definitely all in on, man. When I saw this guy, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, it's like, I am definitely down for this guy.
That is awesome. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah.
Is that convention exclusive one from this year?
No.
Oh, it's another?
A totally new one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is Yamato.
Yeah.
By the way, the boots, I mean, the ankles, the legs look. There's another picture of him in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, right there. That dude looks awesome to me. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, there was some, I think they had, so that one, so he looks darker, of course, in the colors there. These shots at the conventions and stuff, they look a little bit different until you see them, in hand or something like that. But it's like, I'm still down for it. I love the helmet, and I just like the figure in general. Like for me, this is a home run for me. I'll definitely get one of those guys for sure. Yeah, man.
Not a fan of the feet.
Yeah, Acid Rain. They have some proportions sometimes that are not.
At least they can stand, right?
Yeah, They all stand though. That's
I
for
agree,
sure.
though. They look like moccasins, or like that. It looks like that there's a tongue to the boot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Even like I said, even the smallest figures, they all stand. And so this one looks pretty cool too. I guess this is just a kind of a reused parts off of other figures, but I'm like I said, I'm assuming this is a Yamato figure as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe.
I don't think.
the tongue on his shoe, so I bet it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm definitely digging those.
Oh no, this guy
Yeah.
caught my attention. I haven't ordered
Yeah.
him yet, but I'm real close to pulling the trigger on.
I mean, I like them. I wish that. I mean, I don't mind the mostly black on them, but I will say this, man. All the figures, I mean, they're all reused parts pretty much except for the head. But it's like every piece you see there is what you get with one of those guys. And it's the normal price. Whatever price their normal figures are, you're getting all those weapons and everything, for the same price. So, Bjorn, so I did take in consideration the Yamato faction, but mostly it was because of a cartoon I watched when I was a kid. It was like an anime show / cartoon.
Star Blazers.
Star Blazers.
Yeah.
And they had the battleship Yamato. And so I just kind of use that for, the main word for my place.
We're getting outer diverse lore.
Yes.
This guy. This
and
is
so,
another one
yeah,
that kind of caught my.
he has a little bit more color to him. You can't hardly tell in these pictures, but he has like those red accents really stand out. And some people were saying they didn't really like the knives or whatever on there, but I don't know. I think you may be able to take that piece off maybe. Or if you can't, I mean, you can always take the knife out of there, and if you wanted to, but I like them, man. I like them. Like I said, I'll definitely be getting, one of these guys. Yeah, I mean, they may have job along.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very true.
I think he's probably about my age or maybe a little younger. But so these guys look pretty cool. They're definitely like futuristic looking guys for sure. So I mean, it's it's all about what
they
you
kind
like.
of that future Japan kind of look that all the Yamato.
I don't mind it. Like I said, because I
love it.
it's like for me, it's like I love anything that can kind of look like a droid or something, or just a nameless trooper. And so for me, it's just kind of cool to see stuff like this. And it's like it's not everything. I won't get everything, but I'll try to get stuff that really appeals to me. And so these definitely do.
Yeah. See, for me, these would probably be like one-off purchases, and I'll just give them a name and make them like a character.
That's right.
So it's like that'll be like Bob and Phil, So
yeah, they're specialized military guys, right? So they're like
there you go,
ops or something like that. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, they're pretty cool. These are the convention exclusives that they've got, and God bless, man. I wish that they didn't do that, because everybody's scared they're not going to be able to get these because they don't know like how many are going to make it on the PIA club. Because I can guarantee you that none of them are going to make them to Big Bad Toy Store. I can promise you that. So it's like, job along. Please, man, do your due diligence when you see these guys hitting PIA clubs. Send out a message, because there's a lot of guys over here that really want to get some of these figures. And so I love them. I was like, for me, I mean, I definitely want to get the Laurel, but I mean, it's kind of expensive, but it's like I definitely want to get the Navigator and the Donovan figures for those two for sure. I know the Laurel is probably just a repaint, but man, I wasn't really into the AMM figures for a while because you can't buy everything, but I
Right.
kind of got into them a little bit, and I got a few of them now, and I'm like, damn, having a Laurel with them would be awesome, And so anyway, yeah, so I do have, like I said, Acid Rain is my jam. You know what I'm saying? I love the Eagle Force too, but it's like Acid Rain is kind of what got me started into action figures again. And so it's just hard on your pocketbook, man.
Oh yeah.
You have to definitely have to cherry pick.
Yeah.
Or at least I do.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get them all,
No.
I mean, it's, you're kind of independently wealthy, but so this is just a picture of some of the I guess you have a picture of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I did get a couple of those, and I'm glad I did. They were not as hard to get as I thought they were going to be, and they were priced right. Yeah, I know you love Joy Toy, man. It's like I do.
Joy Toy a long way too.
Yes, I mean I love Joy Toy too, but for me right now, it's like I'm just I don't know. I'm digging I'm digging what Acid Rain's doing. And but so this is one of the exclusives. It's basically just a repaint of one that I'll show you in a few minutes. But I don't know, man. It's almost kind of simple, but I just like the colors of this guy. I like the helmet too, just because it's already been redone. The helmet I think is going to be done. I think they might have done one on the Bucks team, I think, for this, but different colors, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they had the same hat on this one guy, not him. But I like him. I like the soft goods,
It's the Bucks team, isn't it, that you're talking about, or no?
No, it's the one that are orange and green. I'll show you in a second. But this guy, I guess, is a named character. I don't know anything about him, but he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like that like big just faceplate over him.
He was part of Buck's team, right?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not really that big into the lore as far as that. So it's like I don't know. But it's funny because this guy right here this is the guy, their body that they're using it for, that one exclusive that I showed you a picture of. And so this picture was like a couple months old, and then there's a picture of Donovan like right next to him. So it's like he put a figure in there that he does sometimes. It's like he'll sneak a figure in there that's, not out yet, or he'll put some that have already been released. And everybody's always like, is that a new figure? Is that a release figure? And so a few months ago, he already had this guy, made. And so anyway.
Yeah, the Easter eggs of Kit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm wondering if like some of those Easter eggs are like just the Paint Masters, or if they're like finished.
I don't know, man. This guy, hold on.
I thought he had a white salamander painted on his jacket when it was done, but
maybe it does.
I think that might be what would have given it away, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought I seen a picture with like a white image painted on his back. Yeah, see, Jablong is onto that too. I figured that he was either a deserter or he was KIA, presumed, because it looks like he's been in the waste for a while. So
yeah, like he was kicking it with the Soil Ghost or something for a while.
No kidding.
Yeah, I love those guys too. I like how they're like mutants, type guys, whatever. But yeah, here's a SMG with a silencer on it, and it's like as big as an automatic rifle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
Well, that's nothing though compared to like an August SMG.
How about the FAMAS?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, here's the two guys that I think a couple months ago they showed that they're going to be released. But I love the colors because I love the orange, I love the green, and so to me they're like I'll definitely be getting a couple of these guys.
The guy with that guy there with the rebreather is as close as you could get to a Soil Ghost. You could just slap a regular a regular head on there, and that would be really close to the updated Soil Ghost too.
You're right. Yeah, I do like the orange because orange is like one of my favorite colors. So it's whenever I see orange on a figure, I usually will pull the trigger. But yeah, speaking of, 30 minutes later, the Bucks team, for with the sand, these are the sand versions. And I guess they made them to where they're younger versions, I guess, because some of these guys look. I mean, they look like um, they're younger versions of them. Maybe they're not. Maybe this is just what all of them look like. But to me, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
um, you know,
I haven't understood that either, because I thought that people died at Taste of Coffee. And I've always been confused how now the armor's either going backwards or forwards, or like, if that makes sense, like
yeah,
where it,
because it's like I thought, yeah, I'm not really familiar with the lore and all that stuff, and so it's like, I just thought it was like, okay, they're just doing updated versions the last time around, and so when they had them in the blue, and so when I saw these, I was like, oh shit, man, it's like I'm definitely gonna have to get these because this definitely matches up, the colors of my desert world type thing, so it's like I love these guys in these colors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
right into
it's
you.
awesome. It's
Definitely.
awesome. Anyway, so that was just some of those, and so these are some newer releases. Bob, you got one of these, right?
Yes. And I finally saw somebody post on Facebook how to detach the legs from the piece there.
Okay.
Well, the thing was, when I took it out of the package and I was playing around with it, I didn't want to like pull too hard and like break it.
Yeah.
But then I finally saw where the connection point was and was like, oh, okay, I'll just warm that up a bit and then pop it right off.
I am super careful whenever I get anything because I do not want to break something, especially if it's on the vehicles or something like that,
Well, and especially how much these cost. You don't want to like,
it's not like they're $20. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you're picking up a Spin Master or a Jazzwares toy. It's
Yeah, because sometimes you think, okay, this is supposed to move this certain way, but man, it sure is. I do think this is a custom MCR.
Oh yeah,
sure, because I think it's just normally just a darker red or something, or that color red. But I think this is just one.
Here, I can show you. I've got one handy here that's plain. Let me pull me up.
But so yeah, go ahead and pull it. So yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I do love how these arms have like a little panel here that lifts up and you can attach his little knives in there for storage.
That's awesome.
I thought that was a nice little feature.
No,
I like that. I'll definitely be getting one of those. I'll probably pick it up when it hits Big Bad Toy Store just because I usually wait for most stuff. I'll pre-order on Big Bad, and if I can get it through PIA Club, I will. But normally my fallback is like Big Bad. But yeah, so this is the new figures that have hit. I guess a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago. The newest Yamato figures. I like them. I probably will use them for different things. Like I don't think I'll use the backpack on that guy in like any of my shots, probably just because I don't have a plane or anything like that, or the parachute or whatever. So I'll probably put some of that stuff to the side, but the actual figures I'm digging, and so this guy's probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, this is the one out of those 3 new troopers. This is the one I got because he has the kind of Triclops looking head going on.
Yep. Definitely awesome. I've been trying to think about how I could, take one of these guys apart and like customize them for one of the other older Narino figures or something. So I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of like wait until I get a couple more of them, before I start taking them apart because I don't want to like, I don't want to accidentally break one, as soon as I get it, but I will say this: the little doodad thing that sticks out of the back of his head is a plug-in, so it's like you don't have to have that if you don't want it. To me, that was kind of I don't know what it was. It was supposed to be some kind of antenna or something, but it's like it was kind of like I'm like I don't really like the way that looks, and so I'm like, well, you can take it off, and so I took it
Yeah.
off. Mine doesn't have it right now.
Yeah, I didn't like how easily it popped off on mine, so it's
Like,
sitting in the box.
if
I
you
put it
drop
right back in the plastic crate,
and that
and
helmet fits on top of the guy's head, so it's not like it's one solid piece. So it's basically
right.
there's a mask that'll come off, and then the helmet sort of just fits right on top of it, and so
Mhm.
you could if you turn him upside down, this hat's gonna fall off pretty much. But
That's
but I
No,
feel
it
like
holds on pretty well. I mean, let's see.
okay,
It,
maybe mine is just a little loose because I've
yeah.
been messing with it a bunch, but I do like this figure. Uh, Like I said, I'm definitely grabbing a couple of each of these when they get to Big Bad, unless I grab them on PIA Club. I do like this guy. I'm not
Mhm.
crazy about his helmet, but everybody's had opinions of his helmet or whatever. But I'll
Opinions
definitely
and nicknames.
lots of nicknames. But I'll definitely be getting this guy for sure.
My
Um,
only disappointment with that guy was there's no storage place for his sword and knife, or at least not one that I saw.
you can't put the kunai on his back.
No, it doesn't have like the little plug,
Oh,
like some of the other figures did. Like they had like a little
yeah, the little, the
post
little
on the store that you could just plug into the back.
that's
right. Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe too bad for that. I mean, because who
Yeah.
would like to have a figure with the swords, sticking out the back? You know what I'm saying? Like, where you can like grab the sword or something. Um, Other than that, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm down to get it. I like the fur
Uh,
around his,
yeah. And
his.
it is soft goods.
it
It,
is.
it,
Yep.
it's furry.
Yep.
But yeah, so I definitely, like I said, I definitely like these figures. I'll definitely be grabbing a couple of each, just because um, I went deep into the Yamato line. So
Hmm.
that's the line that I basically got a bunch of figures from. So I'm going to
True.
keep troop building those guys. So
Absolutely.
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the pictures. We went through a bunch of them. I know it's a lot for people who are not really big fans of Acid Rain or whatever, but they're cool. They're expensive, but
No, I think it's good to inform people too that aren't, into it. It's still good to see that stuff, because
yeah,
it is kind
I,
of.
Mhm.
I mean, it.
I think it's also good for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
like you might see the figure and it's like, well, yeah, that's cool, but I don't really have the money for that or something like that. And then, but maybe it gives you, like I said, maybe it gives you a little inspiration to make something sort of close to that. If you like what it looks like.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like I said, I could talk about Acid Rain all night probably, but um, anyway, but that's the end of the pictures. And uh, John, do you have anything you've got going on right now, or anything you want to push, or anything before we get out of here?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think we had a pretty good show overall. I think we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. Great show. Yeah. So I'll see here. So basically, um, let's see here, Bob. What about yourself? I was thinking about something, but what
Um,
about you, Bob?
yeah, there's a couple of things. So Cato's Collectibles is doing a toy drive for people in North Carolina that got hit by the hurricane, or kids in North Carolina that got hit by the hurricane. So feel free to check out that on his channel. Also, the Last Figure Standing is starting round 2 of voting. So if you want to get in on that,
Yes.
it's
One
up and ready.
that I'd like to see that.
I'm sorry, what?
One of you, will you send one of you send me the link for that? The last figure.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I will track it down. I've got it somewhere. I think it's like in the Facebook group, but yeah, I'll send you that. And then also, as usual, thank you to the chat for coming out and hanging with us.
Yes, it's been great.
Appreciate you all. And also, thank you to those that watch on the replay. We love you too. And feel free if you like what you've seen and all this, hit that like button, subscribe for updates to Outer Multiverses channel, and yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, go ahead and click on that message by Job Alone. Yeah, because it was.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so definitely want to just mention that just since it's tomorrow, pretty much. But Dime Novel Legends, they do have a Kickstarter going out. You know who it is, you know what they do. The cowboy figures, pretty much. So if you're into those, definitely look into it and potentially back it if you're into those figures. And so
They are good quality figures, so you're getting your money's worth out of them. Trust me.
and the thing about it is, if you don't, if you're interested in them, you gotta be willing to back the Kickstarters and stuff like that, so they can continue to make them. Because if you don't, then that's it's hard to get them made. So if you like the product, please back the product. And that's them, or that's any of the other companies that are doing stuff like that, because none of these figures are making it to Walmart, so it's like they have to do it,
small runs.
It's the Wild West Pirates of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know they're doing some like Weird West stuff, and I'm not sure if that's in this Kickstarter or not.
I want to see that Skinwalker finished painted so bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I've seen it at Joe Fest, and it's I'm like, oh, please get a paint sample.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, also don't forget Figtober. Thank you, Joel.
Yes. Figtober 2024. We've got we're almost halfway through through the month, and there's been a lot of great contributions. Yeah. Bob. Anyway, so there's a lot of great contributions. People are making some killer customs. Keep it up, and in a couple of weeks we'll circle back around and we'll have a show about some of the customs that people have made. And so anyway, thanks for everybody coming out in the chat. Thanks for people watching.
Quick thing for Pirates here. No, I don't think this Kickstarter is for their cops line. That's another line they're going to be doing.
That's right.
The Western guy from Cops is like their first one.
Right. Yeah.
They're going to be doing, obviously,
and from what he said, just not keep talking about it, but pretty much if they don't sell the first one, they're not making any of the rest of them. Like, they're not making any more of them. So it's like, if you want to go in potentially to get the line, you've got to buy that figure. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's not going to be any waiting around to see, how many people want this figure. He's only going to make it if he gets the numbers that people will purchase, because, it's,
again, they're a small company. They can't they're not like Hasbro that can just throw out millions of dollars at something. So
that's right. But anyway, John, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you.
Totally.
Again, I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody that's watching or who has been here live chatting with us. It's been great.
Yeah. And, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. We'll definitely chit chat online, after this. Bob, hey, thanks for hanging for another show, man.
Thanks for continuing to have me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Always happy to chat with you guys and chat about toys and stuff.
But with that, guys, have a good rest of the weekend of your Sunday night, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.